Okay, can we just take a second to talk about what a ride episode 5 of the Gilded Age season 3 was? Because so much happened, and honestly, I've been sitting here trying to process it all, and from the looks of the new trailer, episode 6 is only going to make things messier. So, let's dive into what happened last episode and what I know is about to blow up in the next one. Let's start with Peggy's storyline, which is really heating up. Her relationship with William is deepening despite the constant interference from his mother. But then they run into Thomas Fortune at a baseball game, and things take a turn. Fortune invites Peggy to interview the legendary Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, and Peggy is so tempted to return to journalism. She even considers putting her novel on pause, but William freaks when he finds out that Fortune plans to go with her. Peggy refuses to travel with her ex, which sparks a fight between the two men. Now Peggy's stuck having to explain this whole complicated past to William. And let's not forget, his mother is watching all of this like a hawk, waiting for her chance to sabotage the relationship. The fallout from this is definitely going to be front and center in episode 6. Meanwhile, our poor Oscar is still furious about Maud. And honestly, rightfully so. Her return as an S-worker confirms that the money she stole is long gone. But Oscar's not giving up just yet. The trailer shows that he confronts her, hoping she'll confess to what she did with the money. I don't think she's ever going to come clean, let alone return any of it. But part of me still wants to know where it went. What do you think? Is there any chance Oscar can get some closure here? Now let's talk about Gladys. As you all know, she's a duchess now. But it's far from being a dream scenario. Her sister-in-law, Lady Sarah, is making Gladys's life hell. She acts like she owns the place, totally sidelining Gladys in her own home. Even when Hector tries to be supportive and adjust seating arrangements to give Gladys more authority, it's not enough. I mean, nice gesture and all, but it doesn't exactly scream, "I've got your back." On top of that, Gladys is still trying to get used to life in England. The customs, the humor, everything feels foreign. Her one comfort, her maid Adelheid, gets fired by Lady Sarah, leaving her even more isolated. But then, Gladys takes a step I did not expect. She writes to Bertha, "Yep, the same mom who forced her into this marriage." And I thought, wow, this is the start of something new. Maybe, just maybe, she's starting to channel Bertha's strength, for better or worse. And good news, from what we saw in the teaser for episode 6, Bertha's heading to London, and she's going to have a real talk with Gladys. She tells her daughter that sometimes you have to break a few eggs to make an omelet, which is classic Bertha code for, "It's time to go to war." I am beyond ready to watch Bertha and Gladys team up to take Lady Sarah down and, hopefully, build a real marriage with Hector. This mother-daughter alliance is giving me everything. But that's not the only storm brewing in the Russell household. Even after that lavish event they threw, things are not okay. George's business is falling apart. The deal he desperately wants, to buy shares from the Merrick family, is dead on arrival. His advisor, Clay, breaks the news, and George doesn't take it well. He fires him on the spot and sends Larry to handle the negotiation instead. That's a bold move. Bertha tries her own version of damage control by charming Alfred Merrick at a dinner. But Merrick isn't buying what she's selling. He doesn't trust George, and even if he did, buying shares on the open market would cost more than George can afford. That's when it all gets personal. Bertha overhears that George is in deep trouble financially. Then, when George reads the letter from Gladys, blaming Bertha for everything, he loses it. He tells her he won't even be home when she gets back from London. That's a huge blow. George is clearly at the edge, overwhelmed by a wife who controls everything and a business that's crashing down. The stress is unbearable, and honestly, I don't blame him for snapping. Next episode, this mess will only get messier. George will learn that none of the deals are possible, which means they'll have to take on massive debt. And yes, there will be talks of divorce. I know, it sounds wild, but George might actually walk away from Bertha. Whether or not it'll happen, though, that's still up in the air. By the way, thankfully, Marian and Larry are finally engaged. But of course, it's not going to be that easy. Their families aren't exactly thrilled. Aunt Agnes, while putting on her best fake supportive face, confesses to Ada that she feels betrayed. Meanwhile, over at the Russell house, George is surprisingly chill about the whole thing. He congratulates the couple. But Bertha, not so much. As usual, she's upset she wasn't the one pulling the strings. And listen, I have zero sympathy here. Of course she's blindsided, she's addicted to control. But here's the twist. The new trailer shows us that things between Marian and Larry are about to get messy fast. George takes Larry on a cross-country trip, which gives Marian a lot of alone time. And guess what she does with that? Yep, she starts questioning everything. She hears about Larry's interest in nightlife, and it totally rattles her. She starts digging into it by asking around, and what she finds makes her second-guess their entire engagement. Crazy, isn't it? For more weekly updates on Gilded Age Season 3, make sure to like and follow. Meanwhile, the video on the screen might also interest you.